Okay, this is Adrian Gomez again, and today I'm going to show you some things to get the plugin ready for the marketplace, the Corona marketplace. Now, the first thing I want to mention is that when we were building, um, usually I was up here on my phone, and then you build, and if you see the product, it's like 29 kilobyte. Now, I don't know why that is. Uh, but I think it is better that before submitting it to the store, um, you run it as generic iOS device. I suspect it has to do with the libraries that are included, and maybe if you're just targeting iPhones, it would be fine. But in case somebody wants to use it on some other device, it probably would be better if you use generic iOS device. So if I build on that with that selection, you will see that it's slightly bigger, 55. Now the other thing that I do, if you notice, this is in debug iPhone OS. So I, my understanding, again, could be wrong. It would be better if you removed all the debugging symbols from the library. And the way that I do that is if you see here in the schemas, you will see that the debug, the run, the test, the profile, the analyze, and are all debug, and only profile and archive are release. When I try to do an archive of this library, the archive ends up being empty. So I usually, before I release it, I build it with profile. And all I do is go in here and I build for profiling. And then what that does is if I do show in Finder, this is still in debug, but if I go up one to products, uh, you'll see that there's a release here. And I just want to make sure that that's what I do. So I'm going to move this to the trash because the date doesn't, and I'm going to do it again. I'm going to say build for profiling. And sure enough, yeah, there it is. So this is the one that I end up using to submit the plugin, the profile, and you see it's slightly smaller than the one that I built for all devices at 55. So once you have that, I'm going to go into the plugin because that's where I have the rest of what I want to show. Once I have that, and this is well documented in the Corona documentation, I create a folder. I just called it Tapjoy install. Sorry. And this is the metadata file that we did a couple videos ago. Oh, actually, no, this is one of the new ones. And this metadata file has my contact information, my URL, the name of the plugin name, and the publisher ID. Then in the then I create a folder called plugin, and then I create a folder with the version of Corona that this plugin runs. If I had a new version, if I created uh, a new version of the plugin that was only useful for like 3340, then I would create a new folder here. $33.40, and then when somebody uses this plugin in version 3340 or above, it would grab the values that were in here, and then this folder is the one that I populated, and this is the Lua file that we did for the simulator. I just copied and pasted it over and over again. So basically, if you run it on Android, it would say basically it's not supported on, it's only supported on iOS. See, it's only supported, and I went through this in one of the prior videos. Then for iPhone, I included the plugin. You see, it's the 53, so that's the one that I created for profiling. The metadata, which we went through before. There's a couple of different things that I added to the metadata. Um, there's a set of libraries and framework that Corona includes with every build, and so I compare that list to the list that Tapjoy wanted, and I found that these are required by Tapjoy, so I just added them there. And it also requires core telephony optionally, so I added to the optional. The other thing that I added is this folder resources. This just tells Corona to add those resources when they're being built, and the Tapjoy framework requires this Tapjoy resource bundle, so I added it there. Then all the other ones are exactly the same. And so when you are in the Corona Marketplace, and today I'm doubly slow because I have a bad shoulder, so I'm working. I mean, I'm only using one hand, and it's not my dominant hand. Um, but anyway, when you go into Corona Marketplace, when it asks you to upload your plugin, you're basically going to take this entire folder and zip it up, and this is what gets submitted to the marketplace. I hope this was useful. A lot of this is already documented in the Corona documentation for plugins, but it wasn't obvious to me from